Once upon a time, there was three little pigs. There's about three real bad little pigs who used to mess up the house all the time. And they'd leave all their clothes laying all over and their toys on the stairs. And they used to run around the house all day and yell and scream and never shut up or blow their nose or nothing. And the worst thing, they used to never lift up the toilet seat.
The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
The static of life fills your brain, and the world seems a little too insane. Just twist that dial, don't hesitate. There's a haven where good vibes await. Tune in and Take 12 for some joy and cheer. It's the sound of hope coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk, the music so grand, a beacon of light, a helping hand.
Well, greetings, one and all, and welcome to another episode of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show with Dion Miller.
Hello.
From Raw Recovery, Roger McDermott from Huntington Beach, California.
Where you come from.
The Make Believe Take 12 Recovery Radio Orchestra.
Sound of hope coming in
A little weekly wine.
music so grand.
And I'm going to try to get through this show with my voice the way it is. So bear with me. Welcome to this episode. Closed meetings versus open meetings. We'll see where this goes. Join the fun, because here we go.
Remind you you're not alone where you come from. Tune in and Take 12 for some joy and cheer. It's the sound of hope coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk and music so grand, a beacon of light, a helping hand.
That's right. Well, how the heck are you guys? Dion, hey, Dion, tell the folks how they can tune into your podcast.
Oh, that's a great question.
Isn't it?
what a great starting question.
That's right.
I'm all over the place. You can usually find me under Trudging Together. So if you go to trudgingtogether.org, you'll find pretty much everything that I do. Before this, I went live. I do a daily reflections. I go live every day. Been doing that for 7.5 years. We have podcasting. I've got a couple of series people might be interested in. One's called Big Book Thumping. Covers the first 63 pages. I did the 12 Traditions of Christmas. So I have the whole 12 by 12 covered like there for your easy listening. But you can, if you put in Trudging Together in pretty much any platform, you're going to find me.
Yeah.
So, but the best place is the website, trudgingtogether.org. So,
all right.
For that.
All right. Right on. There you go. So Dion, not unlike the rest of us, is overly opinionated, and that's why we love him.
Thanks. We were just talking about defiance and how a little bit is kind of good.
Roger.
Yes.
California. You spent some time at Lake Arrowhead, and you're back with us this week. Things going hunky-dory for you there in Huntington Beach.
Life is wonderful. I have no valid complaints, my friend.
I love that. No valid complaints. Yep. I might complain, but none of it's valid.
That's why you do the weekly wine.
That's why I do the weekly wine.
Yes.
Hey, listen, if you feel like you're stuck in your recovery, I've got a great book for you, 12 Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety, Getting Your Recovery Unstuck by our good friend, Dr. Alan Berger. Go to his website, abphd.com, for your autographed copy. This book's also available on Amazon. All right. If you, well, let me just tell you what's coming up. On Wednesday's show on the Came to Believe Recovery podcast, we're going to be talking about the benefits of being grateful. What that actually does for you health-wise, psychologically, spiritually, and how it can benefit others. And then Friday on our brand new show, Buddha Time with Tommy Buddha, Crazy Raymond Tabano, founding member of Aerosmith, will be on the show with us. Sharing his experience, strength, and hope. So we're really excited about that. So I'm going to try to get through this show. Last week was really bad. This week's a little bit better. So bear with me. So the topic, closed meetings versus open meetings. Let me just share a couple of comments that we got on our social media. Stephen C. says, I think they are for members when members only. For anyone, when open, a membership can be obtained by joining that membership. I think there's some typos here. The qualifications may include being an admitted alcoholic, amongst other things. Maybe. We'll see. Dennis R. says, we should always be willing to reach all who are still in active addiction. So I asked Dennis, I said, so do you think all meetings should be open? And he said, not necessarily, but when a person is in need, needing understanding as people, I believe we can meet the quality of our program speaks of it in the 11th step. Raymond M. said, the spiritual foundation of all 12 steps is anonymity. So closed meetings are important, but open meetings allow curious members of the public to attend. And of course, on media, I'm on the fence. Jeremy K. said, any meeting is a good meeting, to which I will respond right now. You haven't been to enough meetings, son, brother. Scott W. says, our group has 2 meetings a week. Both are open to all. We want to give the opportunity for all to understand the problem. I would hope also the solution. So we'll be talking about that, some interesting comments. But of course, we got to go down this little road.
Sorry to interrupt, but sadly, it's time for the Monty Man's weekly whine, where he whimpers and whines about things he's powerless over. Blah, blah, blah.
That's right. So if you're watching on our video feed right now, a picture is going to come up. What you're seeing in that picture, and let me just show my co-hosts here so they see it. Okay.
Well, that's sad. That's very sad.
Yeah. It looks like a very lonely piece of sausage. And why are you eating it with a spoon?
Yeah, why is the sausage in a spoon on a dirty plate?
Well, I was using it as a comparison to the size. It was less than 1.5 inches long. This is the typical. The last 3 times that I've eaten at a Denny's restaurant. In every case, 3 separate ones, three different parts of the country. They're very consistent. My friend Stephen C. has worked for Denny's, several Denny's, and he says they deep fry the sausage early in the morning, and then it sits there all day long. This piece of sausage was like biting into one of those beef sticks that had been sitting out on your refrigerator for 2 months.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. And the bacon was about the size of my thumb. The hash browns are really, really greasy, oily. I mean, it's just bad.
Yeah.
And the Grand Slam, which used to be like $7.99, $22.
Yeah.
$22 for 2 eggs, 2 sausage, 2 bacon, which only amounted to 1 sausage, 1 bacon, hash browns and a pancake. $22? Have you lost your cotton picking mind?
I have a simple question, Monty. Why do you go to Denny's? Real simple question. Why do you go there?
Marcia and I were up in Shelton, Washington to deliver the ashes of a good friend who had passed away. And it was the only restaurant in sight. And we were hungry. And so we thought, okay, we'll give it another shot. It's definitely the last time.
I think you had some pretty high expectations going in there as a Denny's, you know.
I'm just going to say the same thing.
Oh, my gosh. Never
There
again.
had to be another restaurant within some proximity.
There wasn't. In
Wow.
fact, this is a great segue into the rest of my wine. Roundabouts or turnstiles or whatever you want to call these stupid things, in an attempt to cut down on traffic congestion. I know they were really popular in Europe for years before America ever started putting them in. The East Coast did it before the West Coast did.
Yes.
But we were up in Shelton, Washington, trying to find our hotel and put the GPS in right. These roundabout things, there were like 7 of them all together. It was like, remember when you would have to put the tape in your VCR or the projector in your school projector, and the tape would go around these cylinders, right? That's what it was like. And it confused the GPS so badly that we kept going around and around and around. Couldn't find our motel. He goes, "You have arrived." I'm like, we're still at a roundabout.
We're at Denny's. What's wrong with you?
Denny's was the only restaurant. I'm telling you, it was the only one. Oh my gosh, these stupid roundabouts. And yeah, so and the GPS was just going crazy. You know, remain to your left, remain to your left, remain to your left. You have arrived at your destination. Yeah.
Is this Apple Maps or Google or what was it?
We tried it in 3 different things: Waze, Google Maps, and then the one that's built into our Chrysler Pacifica, which is its own thing. Same thing. It just confused it.
Yeah.
You know, and we found our Best Western motel. There were no signs for Best Western anywhere. And the picture looks really nice on the website, but it's actually behind a gas station in an old abandoned 7-Eleven. And I'm like, what? And then to make matters worse, we get there and they've billed our debit card plus $50 security deposit on top of the debit card for 3 nights. They go, we charge $50 security deposit per night.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, what? I said, you have my credit card number. That's why you have it. Well, that's our policy.
That's not
like,
that's not unusual. But as soon as you check out, they credit the security deposit.
But check this out. It took forever to get it back in.
It's because they love you, Monty. They really wanted to be on the Weekly Wine, and that's why they did this. They listen to Take 12 Radio, and they know there's a Weekly Wine, so they wanted to do this so you could not only talk about the roundabouts and Denny's, but Best Western said they want to get on the weekly wine.
I think the whole city was in on it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Roundabouted you all the way through. Between the sausage and the down payments. I mean, talk about a runaround.
You know what? You guys are right. The whole city was in on it. Not only the city, but the entire state. In fact, I think the government's watching it. Oh, we know the government's watching. They just
called me about you. Yeah.
It's because you drive the Grey Goose, Monty.
Bomb. There's a bomb. Bomb. Oh, my gosh. Okay. That's it for the weekly wine.
Thank goodness that's over. Now we can get back to the show.
All right, we'll be back right after this.
Hey everybody, this is Coleman from KHLT, Recovery Broadcasting, and you're listening to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Podcast with the Monty Man.
Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. People who put their lives on the line for our country and our communities need your help now more than ever. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good in their honor. Never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices of this country's heroes and their families. Show your support. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
Yeah, sadly, we lost him. We lost him. We lost Ozzy. You know, it's interesting because I was never a fan of that type of music back growing up or back in my college days or anything. Never went to an Ozzy concert, never listened to any music, wasn't interested in it or anything. And then I started watching the television show, The Osbournes, and I fell in love with the family.
Yep.
Just fell in love with them.
Yep.
Learned some things about Ozzy that my overly opinionated self was wrong about. Just a lot of respect for the guy and the family and all. So tough times for them. So keep them in your prayers, would you, folks? Something like this doesn't. I don't care if it's expected or not expected. It is always difficult. So there you go. All right.
I have a lot of respect that he died sober. Good job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for being such a great example to our younger people, and showing that even the Prince of Darkness can find a higher power. So.
Yep.
Yeah. That whole and so for the members of our brothers and sisters in the faith community, chill out right now, okay? The Prince of Darkness thing, that was very tongue in cheek.
It was. Yes,
oh yeah,
very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that for me, Monty.
As a matter of fact, the whole biting the head off the bat thing, I don't even think that was true, was it?
No, it did not happen. He squeezed the bat too hard, and he did not bite the head off a bat.
No.
So.
There's a song that he did called, I think it's called Mama, I'm Coming Home.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow. The guy had a beautiful voice.
I went and saw him in concert, you know.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've seen him a few times.
And it was great. About 8 or 9 years ago, something like that at the Hollywood Bowl, and they were phenomenal. It was Black Sabbath.
He was still touring, wasn't he?
Yes.
Back then?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when he passed away.
He has another song called Changes, and if you listen to it, I think a lot of people think it's about a relationship with a woman, but it's actually about a relationship with alcohol.
Oh,
yeah, about him breaking up with that. That's his ode to alcohol.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, closed meetings versus open meetings, or vice versa. So, in researching this, I found a lot of opinions, a lot of articles, from a lot of websites that I have a lot of respect for. But for better or for worse, I thought I should just go to the mothership itself and find out what AA says. So this is from the General Service Office website of Alcoholics Anonymous. That website is aa.org. If you're an NA person, it's na.org. Yep. But according to aa.org, this comes from the General Service Office now. An open meeting of AA is a group meeting that any member of the community, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, may attend. Okay? Non-alcoholics may attend open meetings as observers. Yeah. The only obligation is that attendees not disclose the names of AA members outside the meeting. A typical open meeting will usually have a leader, interesting choice of words, and other speakers. The leader opens the meeting, introduces each speaker, then closes the meeting. With rare exceptions, the speaker at an open meeting are AA members. So if it's open meeting, the non-members don't typically, they're not the featured speakers. Each in turn may review some individual drinking experiences that led to joining AA. Speakers may also give their interpretation of the recovery program and suggest what sobriety has meant to them personally. All views expressed are that of the speaker, not of AA, since members of AA speak only for themselves. Okay, that's an open meeting.
Yep.
So before I go to the definition of a closed meeting, I think it's very interesting. And this may kind of describe the direction that New York has taken as of late, which is less recovery program and more fellowship oriented, which I think is a mistake. But it's interesting that it says each in turn may review some individual drinking experiences that led to joining AA. Speakers may also give their interpretation of the recovery program. Not what the program says, but their interpretation of it. That leaves it kind of broad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And also referring to those who are not members that are there, the only obligation. So now we're telling people who aren't members what they can and can't do. That's interesting. The only obligation is that attendees not disclose the names of AA members outside the meeting. That's reasonable.
Sure.
I suppose. But anyway, the typical open meeting will usually have a leader. That's a word that that didn't used to be very popular to hear that when nobody's the leader, kind of thing. So interesting definition about open meeting. Now here's closed meeting. A closed meeting is for AA members only. So what does that mean? Here it says this: for AA members only, or for those who have a drinking problem and have a desire to stop drinking.
Yep.
So you don't have to be an AA member to attend a closed meeting. Some people think you do. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You just have to have, believe that you have a drinking problem and you have the desire to stop drinking. So you don't have to be a member. Closed meetings give members an opportunity to discuss particular phases of their alcoholic problem. They may be best understood by other alcoholics. These meetings are usually conducted with maximum informality. That's interesting. And all members are encouraged to participate in the discussion. Really? Okay. Closed meetings are of particular value to the newcomers since they provide an opportunity for beginners to ask questions and to benefit from the experience of members who have been sober for sufficient periods of time. It almost sounds like crosstalk's okay in these meetings.
That's what it sounds like there.
They can ask questions.
That it should be open, and it sounds more like a celebrate recovery meeting to me.
I'm not against crosstalk, but we got to make it clear, is that acceptable or not, or are these questions to be asked afterwards or whatever. But anyway, so that's the thing. Now, the interesting thing about open meetings is this is where people, maybe somebody's doing a college paper on the 12-step movement. They may show up, and right, that's happened. I've seen that. Mm-hmm. Media is welcome as long as they're not taking pictures, as long as they're not using full names. We ask them not to, and they've been pretty good about that, actually. But there's open meetings and closed meetings. Now, I had heard that actually designating a meeting a closed meeting was a tradition violation. I found nothing from the AA website that would suggest that.
No.
But I've heard that before. I know that specialty meetings are technically a tradition violation, like all men's meetings or LGBTQ meetings or all women's meetings or all meetings for people who are archery instructors or, we have musicians meetings in Southern California. They're usually not listed in the in the schedule because of the celebrities that show up. Yep. But that actually designating a meeting a specific kind other than just an AA meeting is actually a no-no. Mm-hmm. But we do it all the time, right? So what are your guys' thoughts? What do you think? Is there a place for open meetings? Is there a place for closed meetings?
And the description that they kind of did, because we get a lot of people that come in that are nurses, doctors, lawyers, that sort of thing, because they need to get their EDUs to, they have to fill certain requirements and things like that. From my understanding, they're not allowed to share, and they're not allowed to put in the basket because they're not members of Alcoholics Anonymous. And that makes sense. I run 2 meetings, and one is pretty much every day, and it's a closed meeting. Okay. Now that closed meeting is for people who have a desire to stop drinking. You don't even have to call yourself an alcoholic. I don't care if you're sober curious. I don't care. But it is for alcoholics. And it's for alcoholics only, because working with each other, personally, I think open meetings that kind of turn into like all recovery meetings are dangerous, because there's some things that, like, about drugs and stuff, I don't understand. I don't know what it's like to shoot heroin. I don't know the feelings that you get from it and stuff. I've never been in a trap house. I've never been gang stalked. I don't know.
We need to change that.
No. Thanks. Well, I heard there's a roundabout I could take there.
Yeah, if you go to Washington, you'll have no problem with any of that. And stop at the Denny's after you've been on the roundabout for an hour.
I know people that work their program like a roundabout. They never end up at the destination.
Let's just go in a circle.
So you say that open meetings can be dangerous. Why do you say that?
You know, at least in my experience here in Colorado, you know, there's people that like to take advantage of other people, and they're in certain industries like recovery coaching and sober livings, and they go to AA and they use open meetings to bring in clients. And of course, AA doesn't say anything because that's an outside issue. So what are we going to do about it? And I know that there's been a lot of abuse, at least here in Colorado, where people are going in and like pulling them out of AA meetings and making them recovery coaches at a month sobriety and stuff. And you know the dangers of that. So, but you know, I understand that AA is kind of the mother of all programs, right? And a lot of things are based off of it. But it is for alcoholics, and there is a reason for that. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Now, I am more than happy to help somebody with another addiction, but I'm probably going to lead them to a meeting better suited for them. Is probably what I'm going to do in that.
And there's a way to do that in kindness and being polite and not being harsh.
Absolutely.
Because some people can be that way.
Yeah.
You know. What do you think, Raj?
You know, I've never been conflicted by this whole issue very much. Right. Although I tend to agree with what Dion said in terms of there are certain meetings for people who have serious drug addictions. They may need to be in a meeting of like-minded people with like-minded experiences who can relate to them better. But on the other hand, we know that in this recovery, that it's the drug and the alcohol and the porn are merely a symptom.
Yes.
And so therefore the 12 steps work no matter what your issues are, and that's what I would say to somebody. So I've never been on the side of the open-closed issue, and in all the meetings that I go to, it's never been an issue. But I will say, if a meeting gets out of hand because of some people that aren't honoring traditions, the traditions and also meetings have certain traditions that line up with the 12 traditions, then I think that needs to be handled by the meeting, and that's an issue that can be taken care of after or before the meeting. So I've never had I hadn't really thought about open versus closed too much because it's never been an issue to me, or I've never found it to be an issue. So I did find it interesting that in the description of the meeting, they were always talking about the leader. What happened to the secretary? Is there a secretary and a leader, or is the leader running the show, or whatever? I mean, it's not a big deal, but.
Yeah, some may use the word facilitator. I think for lack of a better term, they're just using the word leader. I don't think they mean that there's.
Yeah.
Maybe they're referring to the chairperson. That's kind of how I took it.
In some groups, the chairperson is always the secretary.
Right.
And in other groups, people take turns or they sign up.
Right.
Right. You pick your poison, whatever. But so you said something that's very interesting. You referred to these problems as symptoms. The problem on purely the medical side of it, of addiction, whether it's addiction to alcohol, whether it's addiction to fentanyl or whatever it is, pornography, overspending, people addiction, which we call codependency, whatever the addiction is, those are that's the symptom. The problem may be different, but the solution is still the same across the board. We have a God-shaped hole. We're trying to fill it with our own intellect. And until we fill it with God, which the God-shaped hole fits, is for, then we have a problem. And so the solution is always the same. So, but But having said that, there is something different about, let's just use methamphetamine, for instance. Okay. Methamphetamine addiction and the behaviors that go with it. Mm-hmm. It's a different world to some degree than the pure alcoholics world, I think. Mm-hmm. Now, I believe there is a demonic element to addiction. I think it's a spiritual battle.
I agree.
And I'm sure, I mean, you know, we've referred to alcohol as spirits for a long time for good reason. But there is something drastically demonic about methamphetamine use, about intravenous cocaine use and heroin and so forth. There's something going on there that I think opens up a door to the demonic that is just way different than alcohol. Maybe. And so when describing the experiences somebody, the hell that somebody goes through when they're in their active addiction, maybe there may be a whole lot more understanding in an NA meeting or a CA meeting or something like that than there might be in an AA meeting. But here's the deal, guys. According to the American Medical Association and Alcoholics Anonymous themselves, alcohol, the substance, is a drug.
Yep.
Therefore, if you're addicted to alcohol, i.e. alcoholics, you are a drug addict. So chew on that, Mr. Purist. We don't talk about drugs in here. Whoa, wait a minute. Yeah, you do. Your literature says alcohol's a drug. So you do talk about drug addiction.
Well, when it all started with Dr. Bob, what did he do? He put him in the hospital for 7 days of medical detoxing.
Yeah.
And they were dealing with uppers and downers and drugs and alcohol.
Absolutely.
100%. So, I don't know where that train of thought came from, but it always bothers me.
Well, we like to be separatists, you know. We like to be
purists. Purists.
We want to be terminally unique.
I like what Mickey Bush says. He goes, "When I go to AA, I identify as an alcoholic because that's the way you like it. When I go to CA," and he goes, "and I'm probably an addict. When I go to CA, I identify as an addict because that's the way you like it. But I'm probably an alcoholic." And then he asked the crowd, "Are there any purists out there, like anybody that only drank or only used drugs?" You know, I drank, but I used drugs too, and I always drank. I always drank, but I usually used drugs as well.
Yeah.
Well, if the drugs were going to enhance my drinking, that's where I like. If I got a medication and it said "do not drink" on this medication, I got excited. I'm like, a new level of bullshit stuff. You know,
if I was going through somebody's medicine cabinet, I wouldn't look for the name of the drug.
Yeah.
I'd look for the warning label.
That's right. It's the first
do not mix with alcohol. And I'd go, "Yep, that's mine. I'm going to take it."
Absolutely. Yeah, and I really agree, and that's something that I talk about too. That I feel like addiction is, I feel like it's a demonic possession. Because when somebody's possessed, what's the one thing they want? They want them separated. Isolation is the number one thing. Turning everybody against you is the thing. That's what that demon feeds off of.
Yeah.
They feed off of the pain produced by the isolation. And what do drugs and alcohol do? They isolate.
They isolate.
Then the stigma. Then your peers are like, nobody loves you. Now we're leading to suicide. Well, now we really got your soul, don't we?
Yep. I agree with you, Dion.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
It's
At
scary.
the very least, it's an oppression. It's a demonic oppression.
Yeah, I've become a different person.
This is addiction is a medical issue with a spiritual solution.
Yeah.
And yeah. So let me give you a scenario about a closed meeting situation. A person shows up at a closed meeting They don't know if they're alcoholic. They don't know if they're a drug addict. They don't know. They're just confused. And so somebody asks him, do you have the desire to stop drinking? I don't know. But I'm here.
Yeah.
At what point does that closed meeting now become an open meeting? Can we do that? Is that acceptable? In some circles it is not. In others it is. So my question is, doesn't the primary purpose, and what's the primary purpose in AA?
Stay sober, help other people achieve
Yes,
the right.
help other people recover. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the primary purpose. When does the primary purpose take over and trump the closed meeting? Right?
Yeah. For me, it's the moment they walked in. Because the first honest thing I said when I got to AA was, I don't know also. And I see willingness. And for me, I see willingness in that. So I would probably take a vote right there. Hey, does anybody mind? We turn this into an open meeting today so we can help this person out. And not once have I ever experienced somebody saying no. Everybody's usually pretty open to it because we do want to help that person out.
Yeah.
So it's perfectly legitimate to turn that into an open meeting for that session.
Well, what is the purpose of telling that person they can't stay in the meeting?
Yeah.
I don't. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that fits anything at Alcoholics Anonymous. If our hand is always supposed to be out to the new person, and we want to be there for them, why would I tell them you can't stay? That just does not fit for me at all.
Yeah.
No, I have seen that actually happen, and it's like what last time I saw it happen, the chairperson told them there's an open meeting in an hour. Come back in an hour. And I'm thinking to myself, that guy may die in that hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to the parking lot for the open meeting in the parking lot then. I would get up and leave that meeting and go outside and work with that person is what I would do.
I think I would walk out with him if the meeting
Yes.
asked him to leave. I think I would leave as well.
Yeah, I would.
'Cause I'm going to walk out with that guy and talk to him.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, there's not enough of us willing to do that anymore.
It is.
We used to make the approach. We didn't wait for people to come to us. We went to them.
Right.
Oh, you're talking my language, Monty.
Yeah, me
Right.
too.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened to H&I?
I don't
Where'd
know.
it go?
Every time I bring it up, people are like, "Well, it's an outside issue." The one this kind of came into my mind because when I first came into AA back in the '90s, and sure things were different. They used to say, "Is anybody here looking for a sponsor?" Now it's is anybody here willing to be a sponsor? Finding a sponsor is as simple as approaching it. It is not that simple. It's not that easy. I was taught it was my job to approach the new person and say, "Hey, I'm your sponsor. I'm going to help you. And if I can't help you, I'm going to find someone that is suited for you."
Yeah.
That's how I was taught. So
What I do is I believe, this is me now, I believe that my job when I enter the rooms of a 12-step meeting, before I walk in the door, every time I ask God, is there somebody here you would like me to help?
Yeah.
And would you guide me in that direction? Because my job today is not to go to stay sober. My job is to go to see where I can be of service to God and the people in that room. And so when I get that nudge, and it's obvious to me when that happens, and I approach that person, I'll say to them, I heard what you said, and I got to tell you, I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah.
I said, I may have a solution. Are you interested?
Yeah.
And if they say yes, we're well on our way.
Yeah.
But you're right, Dion. We used to make the approach, and it's our job to make the approach.
Yeah.
Asking people in a meeting who here is willing to sponsor kind of puts people on the spot. And I don't raise my hand because my plate's full.
Yeah.
but I will still make the approach, like you said.
Absolutely.
Hey, let me direct you to somebody. This guy right here. This guy. Hey, Bruce, come here for a minute. Are you willing to spend some time with this guy over coffee after the meeting? Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. Bruce is a great guy. You might want to listen to what he has to say. There's not enough of that going on. You know.
Yeah, in Grassroots, which is my home group, you know, that's the question that we ask: is anybody here looking for a sponsor? If there's a newcomer, then all the women, you know, if it's a woman, all the women make sure they get their phone number, that they reach out. Hey, if you need a sponsor, I'm available. I'm a closed mouth friend, things like that. So, and that's what I love is when there's a new person, we surround them and bring them into the herd. And I don't see that in most AA meetings. It kind of feels like, well, if you're not willing, and we're starting to determine other people's willingness, I'm not God. They walked into the room. That's willing enough for me.
What were you going to say, Raj?
I was just going to say, I always, when people have problems and they say, that's an outside issue. So I virtually think that everybody in the room has a host of outside issues, particularly since alcohol is merely a symptom. So if you remove alcohol and we're not drinking, what are we left with? All of our outside issues.
That's right.
And the 12 steps are to teach us how to live a good, holy life, being a maximum service to God and others. So I always cringe when I hear, well, that's an outside issue. It's like, well, what is the program about? It's about teaching us how to live life on life's terms. Those are all outside issues. And I'm like, what are we talking about here?
I stubbed my toe this morning and it made me want to drink is a valid topic. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as it is affecting my sobriety, then it's an insight issue and it's a topic for a meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I usually hear when I hear somebody spout when they interrupt somebody, that's an outside issue. It's because they don't want to talk about it.
That's right. They're uncomfortable. Yeah. You spot it, you got it.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what's going on. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so it sounds like there definitely is a place for closed meetings and open meetings.
Sure.
Bottom line, love and tolerance is our code, right? That's our code of ethics.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need to be firm on certain issues, but never harsh. We don't have to be harsh.
Nope.
That's ridiculous. You know, the shut up and sit down, you got nothing to say mentality has no place in the rooms, in my opinion.
I agree.
I may need to shut up and sit down. I would never admit that. All right. Trudgingtogether.org is Dion's website. Please go there and support him. Again, Wednesday's show is going to be on gratitude, and Friday's show we're going to have Crazy Raymond, a founding member of Aerosmith, on Buddha Time with Tommy Buddha. Our closing song is from the comedic recovery recording artist Michael Purrington, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this. It's entitled Closed Meetings. Here's Michael.
Got a pretty exclusive club here. We're badasses off the booze. Had to pass out in public to be a member. Had to vomit on my shoes. Had warrants out on me in 3-4 states. Checks bouncing all over the banks. I was in detox before you were born. I spilled more than you drank. It's a closed meeting. No normies allowed. Closed meeting. We're sick and proud. Gotta fill your world with distrust. Fill your friends with pain and disgust if you wanna be one of us. Are you really an alcoholic? You better have a hell of a story to prove it. We don't let just anybody in here. If you still got a family, a home, a career, you may not measure up as a lowlife. Like me with my 3 DUIs, on a first name basis with the paramedics, had my stomach pumped 5 times. It's a closed meeting. No normies allowed. Closed meeting. We're sick and proud. Gotta fill your world with distrust. Fill your friends with pain and disgust. If you wanna be one of us, do you wanna be one of us? Principles in this program. Love and tolerance is our code. But you'd have had to blacked out and come to driving down the wrong side of the road. If you expect acceptance from these masters of gin-soaked sin, you gotta be as awful as all of us before we let you in. It's a closed meeting. No normies allowed. Closed meeting. We're sick and proud. It's a closed meeting. No normies allowed. Closed meeting. You got dues to pay. Let me see your resume. Did you really live in the bars? Let me see your scars. Did you truly defile yourself? How much of your liver is left? Before we give you the nod, you gotta believe we are God.
Michael Purrington and his band, The Messengers. All right, do with that what you will. If you're really ticked off, you can email us here at take12radio@comcast.net. All right, until our next broadcast, many thanks to Dion Miller from his website, once again, trudgingtogether.org, Roger McDermott from Huntington Beach, California, and all of us here at the Take 12 Recovery Radio family. We are wishing God's perfect serenity for each and every one of you.
Don't let the weights of the past keep you down. There's a melody here to turn it around. In each story and song you'll find a friend, a chorus of courage that'll never end.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.